stock photos. There's no storytelling whatsoever. I mean, it's just as cold as it could possibly be, cut and paste type stuff. Like you said, you went into the interview as an audition. Why don't we just go into life as an audition?
Okay, let's talk a little bit about that. Why don't we actually back it up, talk a little bit about how you even got into this wacky world of insurance.
All the way back from NSYNC to now.
Yeah.
Okay, I can go back that far. So I grew up in the performing arts. I was a dancer since I was 3 years old. I still call myself a dancer. I love to dance. And when I got into high school, I started really pursuing dance a lot more seriously. So I was part of a program. I left school at 10:30 every day, and I would go train from, I'd say, 11 to 6 or 7 every single day. I loved it.
Wow.
And so I went on and I pursued my bachelor's degree in dance. And then I went on and pursued my master's degree in dance from Temple University in Philadelphia. And my final semester in grad school, I tore my MCL and kind of blew out my knee. So I returned home and healed and was able to get back into dance. I graduated from home. I graduated from Temple. They allowed me to do that remotely from my home in Ohio, and got back into the performing arts, got back into teaching and performing dance. And 5 years later, same thing happened, same injury. I blew my knee out again. And at the time I had 2 kids. Now I have 3, but that was kind of my sign, because I was so passionately invested in dance. I was spending 10 hours a day away from my home, away from my family, teaching and performing. And I really needed some balance in my life. And so obviously wasn't listening to that at the time, because I always say it's a blessing in disguise. Like God cut off my leg to say, you need to listen here and kind of refocus. So I remember I was sitting in a cast from my hip to my ankle. I had not had the surgery yet, and I was crying as I was applying for jobs on Indeed. And I was I had no idea what I wanted to do, because here I've always been a dancer and in the arts, and I had no idea which direction to go from there. So I did end up applying for a marketing role. It was a marketing coordinator position that was posted on Indeed for the local insurance agency up the street, which is 10 minutes from my house. Here, I knew I needed balance in my life, more of that traditional, I'd say 8:30 to 5 type style job, and less commute. So I was like, okay, I'll apply. But, everything about the insurance industry felt very stale to me as I was being introduced to it just through the application process. So I would go on the insurance agency's website, and I was like, how am I, I'm coming from an arts background, how am I going to get passionate behind insurance? And, the blog content was 5 years out of date. The website was not mobily compatible. This was in 2016. So it was you couldn't look at anything on a phone. It was all on desktop. The logo had Times New Roman font in it, right? So all these things that I'm I don't know. But also the arts taught me that you treat every interview as an audition. And so at bat, it's a practice. And so I said, okay, let's just go audition for this. I prepared marketing pieces, and I had never done marketing before, but I tried to understand risk management, and I prepared marketing pieces, and I came in, and I crutched in, actually, because I had just had the surgery, so I look pathetic coming in the door. But I sit down and I meet the people, and everybody's greeting me as I walk through the door, and all of a sudden there's just this vibrancy, and there's this life that I wasn't experiencing through the digital presence of this agency. And I met the president and CEO, Patrick O'Neill, who is my mentor and is amazing. And the people around him on the leadership team are amazing as well. And I'm hearing, and he's just naturally kind of guiding through the interview as a conversation and really wanting to get to know who I was as a person. It wasn't about my marketing talents or my marketing skills. It was more about like, could you be an addition to our culture? Mm-hmm. And that's when I was like, wow, like this feels right. And also thinking like the story's not being told from a marketing standpoint. They need a marketer, you know? And especially in the times that we're in now with digital being everything, social media being so prevalent, it's like, gosh, they need a marketer to tell this story. And so then I started to think, they offered me the job, and I started to think like, okay, if I grew up telling stories through movement and through choreography, I can tell another story through marketing and allow that to be my creative outlet. So that's a long-winded answer, but that's how I got into the insurance industry. And I'm so grateful that I have the opportunity to be here.
That is really, really interesting. And Craig and I actually had a conversation recently about that as well, as far as being so sterile in this industry. We're looking at some marketing materials from insurance agencies and insurance agency services and everything, and it's like stock photos. There's no storytelling whatsoever. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just as cold as it could possibly be, cut and paste type stuff.
Right.
And it is so crazy because, and we've had guests prior that have talked about it. There's so much personality, like even yours and your background. Everybody has these incredible backgrounds that they bring and these incredible personalities. But as soon as any kind of marketing comes into place, or you get an email, or sometimes even interactions are just cold as anything. It's mm-hmm. crazy to me.
Yeah.
There's no question within that, but I mean, I guess my question would be, why? Why is it? Is it because we're handling something that can be so mundane that we let that take over? Like, why don't we, like you said, you went into the interview as an audition. Why don't we just go into life as an audition and be on our best? We get into these like,
hold up.